Hi, Malik. We're going to be starting in a minute, so just stand by.
Sounds good.
Malik, we're interviewing another candidate, so while we're doing that, we're gonna shut you off, like, just turn down the volume, I guess. Is that something you know how to do, Carly? Yeah, that he, okay, and just have him stand by. It'll only be like 5 minutes. We're gonna start in a minute as soon as Brian comes. I wonder, should I just... Good evening, everybody. This is the Albany City Common Council, the Public Safety Committee. We're meeting today, Tuesday, August 12th, to go over some agenda items, interviewing applicants for the CPRB, for looking at Resolution 636225R and Resolution 9.12.24R. I'm going to have Brian Jimenez do the roll call for the committee.
Owie?
Here.
Flynn?
Here.
Kimbrough?
Here.
Valloran?
Here.
Frederick?
Here.
All right, that's all 5 committee members present. We're also joined by Research Council, Robert Wenner, Legislative Director Brian Jimenez, Junior Policy Analyst Alyssa Kamara, Junior Legislative Aide Carly Johnson, and and Corporation Counsel Robert McGee.
Thank you, Brian, and thank you, staff, for putting this meeting together. So the first thing on the agenda is we are going to interview applicants for the Community Police Review Board, and we do have Yiddi. I'm sorry, Yiddi Spree, am I pronouncing it? Spry, here, and do you want to step up and we'll do an interview? Just push, yep. And that green light's on the microphone, right?
One more time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
And just pull the mic that, just give us your name and where you're from.
My name is Yehuda Spry, Y-E-H-U-D-A, S-P-R-E-I. I go by Yiddi.
And just give us a background, what you and why you're interested, and just give us some basic info.
Absolutely. So I live in Albany, in the Melrose area. I've always been interested in justice and oversight, and I have a strong belief that justice requires oversight with the basic principle of power corruption. Whenever we lack oversight, you will always have power corrupting. So that oversight is a preventative measure that always serves to prevent the corruption from coming into place with power, such as with law enforcement. And I think an organization like the CPRB is the perfect way to ensure that our law enforcement officers stay true to the goal of justice.
Okay, thank you. And we're going to go around the room with some basic questions, and we'll start off with Kelly Kimbrough.
Thank you, Mr. Spry? How do you say?
Spry.
Mr. Spry, thank you for your interest in the CPRB. My question is, can you explain what the CPRB is, what it does, and why it's important?
Absolutely. So to touch on what I said a little bit earlier, the CPRB is an organization established by the Common Council and overseen by the Common Council that receives complaints from the community about police misconduct potentially, and investigates those complaints to keep the police at the high standard of conduct. As the police is meant to serve the community, they must also answer to the community, which establishes them. And that is the way that we empower the community's voice, by having a community review board. And that is incredibly necessary in order to ensure that the police remember who they are serving and why they are serving them.
The next question is Jack.
Yeah, what got you interested in this CPRB? Was there anything that happened in your life? Is there something that you saw on TV or in the news that got you really interested in this CPRB board?
So I think I can consider myself pretty lucky that I think my interactions with the police have went pretty well, but I do know many individuals, and I've seen obviously on the news with many individuals that interactions with the police very often don't go that way. And very often it's due to police misconduct. And I find that for myself, if I'm able to play a role with the skills that I have, which I think I do, and I think I can contribute, I think it's my duty to do so and offer that contribution.
When you say police misconduct, are you saying that the police themselves have issues? Or do you think it's more about their operations and the procedures? Or both?
Both?
Thanks.
Okay, next up, Sonia.
Edie, I want to thank you for applying to be a board member for the CPRB and coming through the interview process. This is a very active board, right? Very busy, so appreciate in advance the time commitment that you would be willing to put forward if selected. My question for you is, do you know any of the current or former board members of the CPRB? And if so, what is the nature of your relationship with them?
I do not know any current or former members of the CPRB.
Thank you.
Okay, and Alfredo?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you again for taking your time meeting with us today. Can you define independence as it applies to the CPRB?
Absolutely. I believe independence as it applies to the CPRB means independence of operation, being able to decide day to day what actions they do without influence from others. Obviously, independence doesn't come without oversight. Everything requires oversight to prevent corruption. And that oversight should be there to make sure that that independent activity is still in line with the parameters that created the organization.
And I'm going to, my question was, what does oversight of the CPRB mean to you? But you pretty much addressed it. So, but what I want to talk about now, since you really pretty much answered my question, is, is about the time commitment to the CPRB. Well, first off, I want to tell you that there is a $3,000 a year stipend to serve on it. It's a small amount, but it just, helps, give you back some of your time and reward it for the work that you're doing. Also, you have to complete, once you're appointed, the APD Community Police Academy training module that you have to do. It runs between late March and early April. It's 12 weeks long, meeting every Wednesday for 3 hours. typically 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's intended to increase the understanding between citizens and the Albany Police Department. And it'll answer a lot of the questions, so if you are reviewing cases, you kind of know, well, we studied this, or we understand this is the role. So it's important for you to understand that part of the job also is that you have to review cases. Right now, there's 136 cases on the docket. This year, there's 36. There is time limits to, even though there's 100 and something from previous years, the CPRB can make recommendations, but they really don't have any enforcement, or it's, beyond the time limit. So we have to try to get the group going. We're down 3 members right now, 2 from the council and 1 from the mayor's office. So I just wanted to put that out there. Do you have any questions for us?
Yes, absolutely. First, I want to say thank you for telling me about the educational elements and requirements. Always happy to learn, and I want to give my time because I believe this is a worthwhile effort and a necessary effort for the community. Now, regarding questions that I have, I suppose my biggest question is, since I haven't been involved in this very much, as council members, what have you noticed about the board and the board's activities that you think I would be able to learn from to be able to make some changes?
Well, I think it's an education on the job training. So, and like I said, we have the police academy. There will be, I think, working with senior members on the board, you will learn the ropes. I do want to mention that the board previously was underneath Albany Law School, and it came under the city's purview underneath the Common Council in January 1st of this year. And it's pretty much a learning experience. But we do have counsel, we have an attorney on our staff, and that's available to members of the CPRB. And I don't know if anybody else wants to jump in.
I mean, I'll just say something really quick. You need to be able to have good interpersonal skills, be able to work with individuals you don't normally agree with, and be able to work with individuals that you are trying to find information or trying to get guidance from. So I think, interpersonal skills are very important, and being able to navigate the difficult waters, I think, is a skill that, all individuals in decision-making positions should have.
I absolutely agree. Thank you.
What was your question again? I'm sorry.
I was asking if, as council members, as you've worked with the CPRB, if there's anything that you can tell me that you think would be a good thing for me to go in knowing about the job.
Just, you need to be fair and impartial. Not that we look for blank slates, because everyone comes with, their views on the world and how things should operate. But ideally, we like folks that are open-minded, that can set that aside, be fair, and, judge the cases or the incidents on their merits. So that would be helpful.
Thank you so much.
I just want to, how long have you lived in Albany?
I've lived in Albany about 5 years, I believe. I came here for my college education. I studied at UAlbany, and I've stayed here ever since.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions? Thank you so much for coming today. We will have a discussion in the next few days, and we'll get back to you and let you know what, the status of your application.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much for
again.
the opportunity.
Okay, next up, we have Malik Dare, and can we bring him back up? There he is. Hi, Malik. Thank you for waiting.
No problem. Thanks for taking time to meet with me today.
So we have a couple of openings on the CPRB, and we got your application and your letter. And you want to just give us just, your name and where you live and just some basic background info?
Yep. So I'll just start by saying thank you to everyone for considering me for this position, and apologies that I couldn't be there in person with all of you. So I'm Malik Dare. I'm currently a director at the New York State Senate in the Senate Finance Committee. So in short, I work with New York State senators to help fund projects, organizations, schools, farms, or museums in their Senate district. My family has a long history of public service. So public service is something I've grown up around. I've never shied away from helping others. I'm always looking for opportunities to give back and help strengthen the place that raised me. I believe the sector and concept of public safety is Albany's biggest impediment right now, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's why I believe the Community Police Board and the work that they do is so important. Accountability is a cornerstone to success. There's currently a disconnect between the community and law enforcement. We need to be that gap that's bridged in order to move forward. So when I saw there was an opening, I jumped on the opportunity to apply.
Well, thank you. And we're going to go around the room, and we have some questions that each one of us will ask you, and we'll start with Kelly.
First off, thank you, Mr. Dare, for your interest. Kelly Kimbrough, speaking to you. I'll jump right in. My question is, can you explain what the CPRB is, what it does, and why it's important?
Yeah, so from my understanding is the Community Police Review Board is a police oversight agency. The board will review complaints. They'll conduct independent research. They'll review police department policies, and then they'll provide their recommendation to the mayor, common council, police chief, and then it's up to them going forward on how the situation's handled.
Okay, and then just why is it an important board, do you think?
Yeah, accountability is everything. I think right now there's a big, I don't want to say, there's miscommunication between the community and the police department, and I think having this board is essential to just getting everyone on the right page, getting that trust there with the community members of police, and as we know, crime's been a huge issue, and if we can kind of help build that relationship, I think a lot of Albany's problems could be solved.
Thank you.
Jack?
Hi, Malik. Jack Flynn. How are you?
How are you doing, Councilman?
My question is there was there an incident in your life, or is there something in the news you've read about that really one you said, oh, I got to get on that board? I need to help the board, or because there's been a lot in the news about the board. Is there anything in your
Yeah,
life?
I mean, I read the most recent article, obviously, but separate from that, I think since George Floyd happened with COVID, I kind of wanted to help work with just building that relationship between the community, because I do believe the police are essential. We need the police, like having a strong police presence, getting more officers, having officers engage with the community is essential. And I think just seeing what happened 4th of July with all the shootings and everything, it's just going down the wrong path, and we really need to just get that trust there and have everyone working together and on the same page.
Thank you.
Sonia?
Hi, Mr. Dare. Thank you for applying for this position. My question for you is, do you know any of the current or former board members of the CPRB? And if so, can you just go through the nature of your relationship with them?
I know of them through name, just Smallbany. I have no personal relationship with any of the members of the board.
Thank you.
Alfredo?
Thank you again for your willingness to put your name forward for this important position and responsibility in our city. My question is a simple one. Can you define independence as it applies to the CPRB?
So to me, independence would be just separate from everything else, just separate oversight and being blind, turning a blind eye to outside influence, whether it be newspaper articles or political pressure, whether it's from the city council or the mayor, just making your own decision, just standing on your own beliefs, and I feel like I'm capable of just interpreting data and facts and coming to a sound decision based off of that.
All right, and this is Tom Hoey. What does oversight of the CPRB mean to you? And
It
the common,
mean-
well, I should add, the common council right now is the oversight for the board, but if you can just tell us what you're thinking.
I mean, oversight to me is just, I think oversight is very important, it's just accountability. You can't really achieve anything without accountability, just holding people to what they say they'll do, just, I think being a police officer is one of the most important jobs in the city, so sometimes everyone needs to be checked every once in a while, but having a board there, someone to just make sure you're doing the right thing, even if you're not doing the right thing, just changing policies to adapt to current times, or just, sometimes it's just miscommunication of just two people just aren't on the same page, and just having a middle person just to help break down the barriers and just explain to them that we all want the same thing here, and it's just miscommunication.
Okay, thank you. And is there any other questions from committee members? All right, so I just want to briefly talk about the responsibilities if you do get appointed to the board. And one of the things that you have to do is attend the APD Community Police Academy training. And that program is held between March and April. It's 12 weeks long. And they meet every Wednesday for 3 hours, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. The program is intended to increase understanding between citizen and the Albany Police Department, and to dispel suspicions and misconceptions and increase rapport. So that's one thing that you would have to do. You also, there's 9 members of the board. 4 of them are appointed by the mayor, and 5 of them are appointed by the common council. And with those 9 members, they take turns, they split up the caseload, and each member has to do investigations. There is support. We have the CPRB coordinator that kind of coordinates, does like the office type of work, and there is a learning curve, and you got to learn some of the systems, the video systems and stuff like that to be able to review the cases. There is a small stipend, $3,000 a year for your time on that. It's 1 meeting a month, and also the investigative time. So if you're on this board, you're going to work, and that's what we're trying to do. The board just came under the auspices of the Common Council January 1st. Previous to that, it was underneath the Albany Law School. We do have a learning curve right now, and we had to move the location where the board meets. There's a new office up on Central Avenue. It's, and, I'm not gonna, if you've been reading the paper, you'll see we have some growing pains, but we want to try to get through that. And one of the most important things is to make sure that we bring people in. There's some members that their term has expired, but we don't let them leave till we have somebody else appointed. So just to give you some of the background on that. I mean, you can always leave, but we ask them to stay till the position. We don't chain them down and say, you got to stay here and do the work. But most people, they enjoy it. They want to do the work. And we're trying to build trust and with the police, with the chief, and try to get, the work done. We've had to pass a couple of local laws to try to give a little bit more power to the board so they can do the job that we're asking them to do. So with that, do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, so say I was appointed to the board, I wouldn't start the APD training till March though?
Correct.
Okay. And how soon are you looking to fill the open board positions?
Right away.
And then I was gonna actually ask about the growing pain, what the growing pains have been with the board leaving the Albany Law and being under the Common Council now.
And I'm sorry, I didn't hear it right. Can you repeat that question?
I was gonna ask about what some of the growing pains were under the new structure with the police review board being under the Common Council now.
Oh, the growing pain? Oh, well, we had, the board comes up with bylaws, so that's one of the things. They gotta, how they're gonna govern themselves. They also appoint a chair, a vice chair, and a secretary. One of the growing pains was the chair left at the end of May, early June, and we got a new chair in who's relatively new to it. So that's part of the growing pains. The other thing was that we had a program director who left in August, and we weren't able to replace that director till May. So it went all those months. The law school did step up and help us out by doing a lot of the functionality, but there was never like an instruction manual for the program director. It's kind of, fly by wire, and as some of our, people say, we're flying the plane but building it at the same time. So we're trying to get beyond that. We do have a good program director, I feel, and who's had previous experiences on other police review boards in large cities. But, that's been the big thing. It's under the council, we do have a fiduciary responsibility for the budget for the review board. And in the past, I don't know if we looked at it as closely because it was under the auspices of Albany Law School. We would give them a chunk of money and say, run this board. And now this board's underneath the council, and we're in charge of the money going. So, and one of the questions was independence. We want the board to be totally independent in reviewing the cases, but you have to follow rules and regulations of the city as far as fiduciary responsibilities. Having a budget, sticking to the budget, procurement, buying things, hiring. The plan for the board is, right now, we outsource the investigators. So the plan is that we would hire within the city investigators full-time, so we don't have to pay by the hour, that we'll have somebody on payroll to be able to do the investigations beyond what the CPRB members do. So, that's some of the things. Does that kind of give you an idea?
Yeah, that answered my question. Thank you.
Go ahead, Alfredo.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to add something. Look, challenges are going to be there whenever you're doing something that's important, whenever you're doing something with people that are passionate about what is getting done, and challenges isn't something that one of us runs away from. So we're going to face these challenges together as the board and as a council as we move forward to try to focus on what the purpose is, which is the work that the board is looking to do, and move forward with a focus on that. So that's what I hope as we get through the challenges. The challenges, I'm always a strong believer. A good challenge makes you stronger. It makes you stronger, it makes you more resistant. So I'm confident that we'll come out of all these challenges with a stronger board and a stronger council for it. Thank you.
Kelly?
Yep. Yeah, and just, when we talk about independence and hiring the employees would be employees of the city, but they work at the direction of the CPRB, because when we talk about independence, it's important for them to be able to direct them. And so that's the intention, but make no bones about it, they would be city employees and subject to City of Albany employee rules and policies.
And
Sonia?
Yeah, it's a good question because we're all chiming in on this one. Just to elaborate on Councilmember Ballerin's point, I think this board uniquely is a volunteer board, right? Similar to other boards, but they have a lot of eyes and attention on this particular board due to the nature of the good work that the board is doing. And so there's added pressure with that, right? News, et cetera, are often looking to cover the CPRB. Where are they? What are they doing? You know, potentially what's going wrong, what's going right. So there's an added layer of community investment into the board that also enhances the responsibility of the board members all throughout the year compared to other boards that might, you know, have an annual report or come up when the assessments are due or things of that nature. This one is very active and very visible all throughout the year.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions?
No, I think you guys did a great job covering everything, and I think, I mean, the time commitment shouldn't be an issue, won't be an issue for me, and it's about what I expected.
Thank you. And again, thank you for applying. Really, thank you again. All right.
Thank you for considering my application.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to go into an executive session?
I make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
To discuss personnel for the CPRB, for appointment of CPRB personnel issues.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Robert to stay, McGee for Corporation Counsel, everybody else, our staff can stay. Yeah. Kelly, do you want to? Testing, 1, 2. Testing.
Okay, we've got to come back out of executive session, right? We're
Okay,
back.
we've come out of executive session, and do we have a motion to come out of?
Yeah, out of executive session where we're discussing the candidates for the CPRB. I'd like to make a motion to move forward with one of the candidates from the interviews for CPRB seats.
Do I have
It's a motion. Excuse me?
That we discussed during executive session.
That we, yes, make a motion that we move forward with a candidate that we discussed during executive session.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay, moving on to the next agenda item. We are,
If there's anyone out there, they can come back in, so, I don't know if everyone left, but.
okay, we are going to look at Resolution 636225R by Councilmember Farrell. And it's a resolution of the Common Council adopting the 2025 Albany County Hazard Mitigation Plan update. Is there any discussion on this?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory, and I'd like to make a motion for a favorable recommendation, unless anybody objects.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, next we are looking at Resolution 9.12.24R, and it's a resolution of the Common Council recognizing increased violence in the city of Albany and reaffirming the council's commitment to a permanent end to violence in our communities. Is there any discussion? Go ahead, Sonia.
So this resolution has gone through various iterations. I know it was tabled for a bit and came back. I guess, at this point in time, admittedly, I'm a prime sponsor, but at this point in time, I would recommend maybe changing the language of the title a bit, because what we're really saying here, like, what is the call to action? What can we actually do to try to make some improvements to the violence? And we're asking the governor, assembly, and senator to create the gun violence hotline. So I feel like that should be included in the title, because I think the title, as it stands, may be a bit deceiving in terms of what we're trying to get at here. It doesn't have like that many legs. The leg I see is the call to action. So that would be my recommendation, is to update the title.
Okay, I think that's a friendly amendment. Again, I don't know why this got kind of lost in the agendas. And when Carly went over what we had for public safety, I felt that we should get it out of the queue, and we can make the changes like you said. I think they did do a few changes. They changed the assembly and senator, but we can also change that. Is that something you'll be able to do for us, Brian? Well, I meant what Sonia said that we
Title.
should, in the title, can we just add that we're asking for the gun legislation, from the governor and from our
The
elected.
Gun violence hotline.
Yeah. Okay.
I just got a point of clarification, because Assemblymember McDonald was always part of Albany. He's not part of Albany anymore. I don't know if we still want to include him. You know what I'm saying? He used to be he used to represent Albany. And I love John, for the record, I don't want to say anything against it, but why are we putting him in here when he doesn't represent Albany for the future? That's just
Agree.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we could put Angelo Santa Barbara and others, but
Okay.
So can we make that
I think we
adjustment
should
also?
strike him out personally, even though, hi, John, I love you anyways.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so, is there any other comments? And would somebody motion this, resolution with amendments?
I motion to vote out of committee with a positive recommendation, Resolution 9/12/24R MC, with the following amendments, updating the title to be less wordy and really emphasize the gun violence hotline call to action, as well as the removal of Assembly Member McDonald, that we very much appreciate all of his efforts, but because he doesn't represent Albany at this time, we're going to scope him out of the be it further resolved paragraph.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That passes. The last thing on the agenda was discussion on local law L of 2022. And again, this was something that's been sitting in the queue. And I know that Councilmember Kelly Kimbrough wants to discuss it with the chief, and we will just put this back on the back burner again until he has a chance to talk to him
Yeah.
and decide if we want to move forward or if we want to adjust it or what we want to do. The reason that I was asking to bring it up, and I know it's a touchy subject, but I think it would be important to have some kind of legislation on the books, on procedures, that if we ever have an incident, and what this came out of was an incident right after the George Floyd murder, and tear gas was used, but it would be nice to have some kind of regulation or procedure, I should say, not regulation, but a set procedure
Yeah.
for people to know that if something in the future, could be 10 years, 20 years down the road, that, that we can deal with it. But again, that's up to the maker of the resolution and to the, not the resolution, but
The
to
law.
the local law and to the chief, to have a
Right.
discussion and see if it's worth moving forward on. So if there's any, does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring before the committee at this point?
I'm sorry, can we, I know we passed our resolution 9/12/24R, but I was just writing up a new title for this, and one thing I noticed is we're talking about last year's homicide and shooting victims, but can we also just add the current stats of this year? I know we have that from the data that's pulled, but can we just, because we're halfway through 2025, we should probably just add a mention of this year's results.
I would consider that a friendly amendment with just an update, and I don't think we need to do, does anybody have an objection to that? Anybody on the committee? Okay, we'll just move forward with those changes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. Okay, do we have, if there's nothing else, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all. I mean, this was a very good meeting. We got done in an hour, so less than an hour.